I'm Jessica Lazar, and this is Kings, which appears in the 2023 summer issue. Kings lie down to zip up their jeans, buy Cetaphil, candy, magazines at Walgreens because they can walk there unsupervised, describe blowjobs they've given to seniors in cars, spend what they think of as their own money. Homesick from school, they learn about G-strings from daytime TV, a Jerry Springer episode. My daughter dresses like a hoe. And a mom comes on waving a finger at a whooping audience that quiets as she opens a variety pack Band-Aid box out of which she pulls her daughter's clothes. We named those thongs for this one beautiful junior who, in the cafeteria, sat down within view. Why it was, we had to be in high school. At the same time, an extremely low-riding jeans trend arose. We'll never know. Kristen went to Catholic school, so everyone had already been kissed. As a girl, that's how you made it to first base. You didn't kiss, you were kissed. What does it mean to get fingered? I asked her, the term itself insufficiently illustrative. She made a motion. My eyes widened. It's really more for the guy, she said. People got fingered on the beach and drank beer. For dinner, we ordered Little Giant. I was kissed by a friend of hers who later said I was an airhead. At Walgreens, I bought candy to bring to Michigan City. It's amazing that we did what we did among the very sandcastles of our youth. There he was by the dune. Hey, he said. But I just handed him an airhead and went to swim. That was all we were doing, playing Kings. There's a can of beer in the center and cards fanned out around it, or a solo cup full of whatever people pour in. Each card means a different collective activity, rhyming or raising a hand. If you're last or you can't rhyme, you drink. Sometimes it's a social and everyone drinks together. The goal is to get drunk, even though that means losing. 5s were guys, 6s chicks. In the strip version, those cards indicated collective stripping by gender. You never knew whether it would be strip or not, so you always considered wearing layers. It was summer. Sometimes you get pretty naked, but it wasn't pushy. You could take off one sock at a time. Which boy's feet you sat at mattered. Strip kings or not, the feet determined the course of your night. I sat at Tim's. I went upstairs for a drink when he did. We paused in the hallway. His breath, his skin, deodorant, laundry detergent. He stepped back to look at me and shook his head, marveling at the strength of our restraint. That's just what he's like with girls from out of town, Kristen kept saying. Andrew was my ride from the north side some mornings. It was navy blue, his minivan, someone in the family's discarded car. He blasted dry, minimal Chicago hip-hop, and we made out at stoplights. But I was in love with Matt. Matt and I lay in bed for hours listening to the rhythm of the Saints and showered at his dad's when only his stepmom was home. We sat on the couch. I tried, watching him play Grand Theft Auto, to be supportive, to comment on the game's genius design and look generally interested and skinny. Matt left the room right after he told me he was getting back with Kim. He came back in with a paper towel taped to his shoulder, opened his arms, and grinned like you can laugh even while you cry on me. I didn't move toward him. Sam and Matt had been good friends, co-captains of the soccer team. I don't remember why they fell out. How it started between us was Sam kept asking me to walk to 57th Street for lunch. He never believed that stuff I did with him I hadn't done with Matt, but I hadn't, not with anyone. He turned 18 and I gave him an original Pulp Fiction movie poster. Can't we just ride out the summer? We were breaking up for college. No, I said, having left my body upstairs in a distant hallway. I think we should start the process now. I pressured you to have sex, he said. You shouldn't have lost it to me. I was just as bad as his other ex-girlfriend. She was actually a popular hot girl, not a might be hot in a few years type guys could feel they'd plucked from innocence like me. Turns out you're just like her, he said. Maybe I'd wanted that from being his girlfriend. Maybe she was what I'd wanted to be. I pulled into St. Joe around 2 and felt giddy. I met Tim, already dressed for the wedding, coming out of the elevator, his suit sleeve just hinting at a bicep beneath. He stared like I didn't know you were going to be here. What's your room number? 308. The knock came. Kristen didn't tell you? It was her wedding. No, he said, lifting my dress. He called drunk from his dad's, sometimes at 2 or 3 a.m., a number I'd learned by heart at 17. I'd lie in bed and watch the call come in. So this is what I am, I said to myself, his girlfriend calling my room twice the night of the wedding. I haven't seen him, I said. He said he'd spent the earlier part of the day beating in the face of a guy who sold drugs to his mom. He showed me his hands, but the knuckles weren't bruised. I couldn't tell if the drinks had made him confuse fantasy and reality, just like I couldn't, in my hotel room, tell whether I had confused the same thing. Tim, I said, why are we doing this? Because, he said, this is what we do. The man with the NRA hat and I had, on the trail, a pleasant exchange. We're from Indiana, his wife said. I'm from Chicago, I said. We're from southern Indiana, he said. I see. As I walked away, I thought about his hat. What could I say about guns? I don't know if I should, if I shot one. There was a ranch. I was in school, elementary. We were going to shoot cans, but my leg went into the frozen lake instead. I screamed and we had to go home. It was winter, summer, hunting season. Is that a gun? Fireworks we watched from Lori's roof, not a boat we'd taken out on the lake. I think I'm between a boat and a lake when I think somebody owns that boat, nobody this lake. I will be owned by the ground I walk on, kept by the air I breathe. An article appeared in my newsfeed. Michigan City man airlifted to South Bend, bleeding from skull. Hadn't the ranch been there, where my leg went through the ice? Love you, Tim, the comment read. I felt so good, picking up and telling him he was drunk and I wasn't available, or letting the call go to voicemail, waking up, seeing it, and not calling back. Dear everyone I loved and never told. I loved Tim and never told him. I did tell him once, in my kitchen. He'd said it first, so I was safe. I told him I'd marry him. You'd marry me? We were drinking martinis. He was in a relationship with someone with my name. Yeah, I'd marry you, I said. But aren't you slumming it right now? He grew up where my family had a second home. His dad's was just down the road. He'd come for me barefoot in a 3-wheeled golf cart, his drink on what would have been the dash. Do you ever think about actually being with me? I should have said. In bed, in the basement, the shower, on the beach at dawn. But he was in college, and I wasn't anything like the girlfriends he brought home. I don't feel that I'm slumming it with you, no, I said. He sipped his martini. Damn, he said. I always thought that maybe I could have a different life. We walked from mine to his dad's. I followed him down to where I used to sit at his feet. He wanted to show me something, which turned out to be a rifle he pointed at me. Put the gun down, Brad, I thought, reciting a line from a scene I'd once studied. Daniel, my scene partner, was Brad. I just want to get a look at the little lady, his line said next. The class was amazing. We did exercises that didn't resemble reality in order to make our scenes more real. In one exercise, each partner held the end of a rope. Delivering a line meant manipulating the rope in some way, pulling, yanking, wrapping, knotting, tying oneself or someone else up. This permitted the surfacing and physical expression of hidden motivations, as when the other Jess and Peter, her scene partner, found themselves completely wrapped up together, him behind her, the rope so tangled you'd sooner step out of than unwrap it, while their characters, exes who'd run into each other in line for the bathroom of a restaurant they'd attended on dates with other people, spoke about fondue. Another exercise had us move freely through the fully fleshed out details of our set to try to defamiliarize things like tables and chairs, glasses and guns, floors even, and ceilings, to try in our scenes to employ those things in a more human way. You'd be surprised how much work it takes to approximate human beings on stage, even when you are one. Most actors just pick up a glass and drink, but God knows a glass is for running one's finger along the rim of, spilling, moving from one side of a table to the other, passing to a friend for a sip. In this sense, the glass, in this sense, is another scene partner in relation to whom a whole human drama unfolds. Actors think, a gun. I know what this is. This is how a person holds a gun. Or a kitchen. I know what this is. This is how a person is in a kitchen. But God knows the running joke had been Cooper smoking pot while I made eyes at Tim, me saying, please, Cooper, don't do that in my kitchen, and him saying, and everyone repeating for years, wait, I'm in your kitchen? When Daniel had the gun, that time we moved freely, he wasn't pointing it at me so much as lifting me up, who was draped over its barrel. Put it down, I insisted. I just want to get a look, he said. We were divorcing. I was taking our sons to Portland. My name was Colleen. Tim showing me the coat of arms newly installed on his shoulder blade. My sister got one too, he said. It's a family crest, see? Here's my Irish side, here's my American side. He vaguely touched his back as he spoke. You have to get better at pointing them out, I said. Show me, he said, guiding my hand. Here are the books. Here are the dogs. No, I said. They're here, and they're here. Tim hit a curb, riding his motorcycle. Now, though his tattoo's intact, his brain will never be the same. I think this must be what love is. You tend a little fire that is someone in your system, and even though the facts might point in one direction, out, you go on tending it, because that is what you do.